So, good morning, everybody. My name is Lucrezia Caon, and I work at the Global Soil Partnership. I'm telling you this because we have three new members, or actually contributors to the Soil Atlas attending this meeting, so that I would like also to give them the floor to introduce themselves. And maybe since we are few people, we can just do a round of presentation. So this is the meeting of the fourth editorial board meeting of the Soil Atlas of Asia. Today is dedicated to countries in the Eurasian region that falls into the geographical scope of the Atlas. I quickly go through the agenda so that we know what to expect from today. So we will have some opening remarks from Mr. Arwin Jones, that is from the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, and is also leading the writing of this atlas together with FAO. Then we will have an overview of mapping contributions received to present, and we will talk about harmonization of borders. Then we will also discuss a bit about the other maps that will be included in the atlas, beside the one on soil classification. And we will talk and review a bit the country profiles that will be in the atlas itself. I would like to give, maybe with Arwin, if you agree, we have a short round of introductions, like to the table, because Maria was so nice to invite three other colleagues from the region to attend the meeting. So as mentioned before, my name is Lucrezia Caon, and I work at the Global Soil Partnership of FAO. Maybe I call you by name, then Filippo, please introduce yourself.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, I think it's good morning for everyone. I'm Filippo Benedetti. I'm working at the Global Soil Partnership together with Lucrezia at FAO. It's a pleasure to meet you all, even if just virtually.
Arwin, I keep you as last one, so that then you can also give the opening remarks. Then I see that we have, well, Maria. Maria, you want to introduce yourself first?
Okay. So I'm Maria Konishkova, and here I'm representing the Eurasian Soil the Secretariat of the Eurasian Soil Partnership.
Thank you very much. And now I would like to give the floor to the three colleagues you kindly invited to the meeting, starting from Mr. Andrei Rozanov.
Hello, everyone. I'm Andrei Rozanov, and I assisted in writing the Tajikistan description. Thank you.
Thanks, and welcome to this meeting. Now, Laziza, no? I'm sorry, I have problems with the pronunciation.
This is Laziza Hon Gafurova, her surname. I'm not sure that she can talk. She will participate here, but maybe due to language problems, maybe she cannot participate actively. But she will follow the process. And also I invited Gulchehra Hasankhanova. She wanted to join, but I can see from the list she's still not here.
Actually, I think she has connection problems, because I saw her in the participants connected, but she comes and disappears sometimes.
Maybe.
Then I'm happy to see we have a number of colleagues from the meeting of yesterday that we invited them to participate, especially, you know, yesterday we had the meeting of the Asian countries, the ones falling in Central East Asia, and we invited those that especially border with the Eurasian country to attend this meeting. I see that Pandi is here. Pandi, you want to introduce yourself?
Okay, thank you. Good morning. Pandis Druli, I am advisory board member working at the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute in Bari in Italy. And sorry for the reflection of my glasses. I'm real, I'm not Martian, but I don't know why. Many people told me, what is that type of reflection? So good to be here.
Don't worry, we are many people with the same problem. Then Marcus from Indonesia, you don't border with any Eurasian country, but we are happy to have you here. Maybe he's just listening. And then Mongolia. Great to have Mongolia as well. Gamzorig, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I'm it's
We cannot hear you.
okay. Hello, everyone. I'm a soil scientist of Mongolian Institute of Geography, Mongolian Academy of Science. I'm one of the members of the Mongolian Soil Foundation. Thank you.
Many thanks for being with us also today. I kept as last two of our key people in the writing of this atlas. The first one is Erika Mikelli, our expert in the WRB. Erika, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good morning to everybody. My name is Erika Mikelli. I was helping some countries with the correlation of the national or the US system to the WRB. And I have participated in the works in other atlases with Arvin and the JRC. Thank you.
Thanks to you, Erika. And ultimately, Kostya, again from FAO. Kostya?
Hello, everybody. My name is Kostya Vyatkin. I'm working in Global Soil Partnership of FAO together with Lucrezia and Filippo.
And he is our expert on mapping and all this type of GIS work. Arwin, the floor is yours for for your presentation and also the opening remarks.
So good morning to everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here, even though we are all distance. I'm glad that everybody could take the time to attend and focus on the next steps in the development of the Soil Atlas of Asia. So I work at the European Commission's Joint Research Centre. I'm in the north of Italy, not far from the city of Milan. It's very cold here this morning, freezing, but maybe not as cold as some of your sites in Central Asia. So just to move on very quickly, the scope of today, as Lucrezia said, is to focus on two particular sections in the atlas. One on the soil classification mapping that we will use for the map spreads that form basically the heart of the atlas. And so we will look at indeed the data that's been contributed so far and highlight maybe some issues in terms of harmonization, both from a geographical point of view in terms of the detail that's presented, but also maybe more importantly in terms of the allocation of the WRB reference group and qualifiers to the data, specifically at borders. We had I think a very productive meeting yesterday on the same issue with the colleagues from the Eastern and Southern Asian countries, and I think if we can replicate the success of that meeting today, I think we are well on the way to a good product. The second point, as Lucrezia indicated, is to then focus a little bit on the additional mapping that should be included in the atlas, and there the colleagues from FAO will provide us with an update on a number of these global products that we will try to benefit from, but also to have maybe some additional reflections on maybe some more regional products or the possibility of some regional products. And then finally, we will spend some time just to look at your reactions to the country profiles that were provided in many cases and then had to be obviously edited by myself to fit the space and the style of the atlas. So we'll have basically these three tasks this morning, and we'll go through them one by one. Yes, very pleased to see you all. Also, it's nice to cross tracks again with Andre, but from a different hat, where we're dealing. We have collaboration through another project on Africa. So it's good to see that people are crossing continents in their working on soil. So it's nice to see you, Andre. Okay, so I think without further ado, let's move on. I'll just now ask Kostya maybe to present an overview of the data sets that we've received so far from the Eurasian part of the atlas. It's a very informal meeting, so feel free to comment or to raise your hand or to say something in the chat at any time, and we can react.
Yeah,
even if the English isn't particularly strong, if they can, in talking, they can also write comments in the chat, and we can try to deal with them that way.
Or raise the hand as Maria is doing. Maria, please tell us.
Yes, my question actually about the countries' representatives, because I'm wondering about the representatives of the Caucasian countries, because there were many who are from also were ready to contribute. Are they considered within the Eurasian region, or they will be participating in another meeting? Caucasian countries.
So they are definitely included in the atlas. So they are within the geographical scope of the atlas. We have the country profiles. To be honest, I'm not sure into which of the days they are participating.
Because I'm afraid not to skip them or to miss them, because actually there are people who are active. And I was expecting them to be here, but I was not inviting them because it's, let's say, it's not my area. Let's say.
You said Caucasian.
Azerbaijan.
Yeah, let me show you something.
Georgia and Armenia. From Azerbaijan, many people are active.
So indeed, they should be at this meeting here. But if you remember, I asked you who should we invite. This is our database. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see, yeah.
So these are basically when we started to write the atlas, I did a round of emails asking the regions involved in the geographical scope of the atlas if they feel like contributing, if someone feel like contributing, and I got the following names. So we have Georgia, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan.
Yeah, but I remember some persons who were participating in the third meeting, and the names are different. So I don't. So actually, they are active. I mean that I know that they work with soil geography. They compile the maps of the digital map of Azerbaijan. So I know those persons, they are not in this list, but they were participating in the meeting of the
Maybe they were invited by Kostya. I don't know. Let me see who participated in the previous meeting. But the people I show you now, I did not invite them based on what we discussed by email. Third meeting report. And also I feel a bit better towards them because they said they would contribute, but then we never really made contact with them.
Yeah, I mean that actually now we can, let's say, have a wrap up and activate those people. So now it's time for us to do it if it's necessary, actually.
So we had Ermek from Kyrgyzstan at the previous meeting, then you and Pavel, of course.
Yeah, and Azerbaijan? A.
Keep scrolling up.
Ah, she's not connected. She's not connected anymore. Okay.
Yeah, but basically, when it comes to my part, I will show you that the only maps we actually received so far were exactly from Azerbaijan and Armenia. So indeed they are active. Okay, here, yeah, we have Amin.
Yes, Fikrat, he is working actively with digital soil mapping. We could see from the list of Lucrezia, he was there, and actually he is, let's say, out of all the specialists I know, he is actually can work with digital maps. So it would be good to involve him back to this discussion.
But actually, I'm wondering how these 4 people got to the...
I don't know. It's not from our side.
Okay, I can actually comment on Amin Ismailov. He's our now appointed INSEE representative from Azerbaijan. And it was him who submitted the map to me. So he's certainly legit. And then, yeah, sure, if we need to invite Fikrat Feyziev, I think it's a good idea. I think the more people we get working on the topic, the better. Yeah, I can just talk for Amin that we got the data from him that I will show shortly.
Yeah, and also about the situation with Kyrgyzstan. What is the situation? Because here we have Andrei, who actually is very familiar with this region. But we, from the third meeting, I could see that there are other people who will be responsible for this region, for this country, but they are not here again.
Okay, so again, for Kyrgyzstan, we have Ermek as our contact. Also, he's our contact for INSEE and for the mapping activities. We've been in contact with him. He was active for preparing correlation table. He has a digitized map of Kyrgyzstan, but with the old classification, the original classification. And he was developing a correlation table of his classification to WRB, but he needed assistance with that. So we asked Pavel to review his draft correlation table and help him.
Okay.
And since then, yeah, we didn't receive any result. It was maybe about a month ago that they started working on this.
Okay.
So if we can also add other people to this work, I guess it will be greatly benefiting the results.
Yeah, I think that we can add. Especially I think they want to participate, but somehow they are lost.
That's perfect. Yeah, so we can put them in touch with their Mac and his map, and yeah, we can discuss.
But I have to say, I was expecting the participation of the Caucasus country either today or tomorrow, but probably today actually. So it's surprising that they haven't been invited, given that they were part of the previous meeting. So maybe I think that's probably just an oversight in the invitation process.
My problem is really, I don't have them in my database. So I think they were invited to the previous meeting through someone else.
Okay.
That's why, so for Ermek, Kostya, you can follow up with Ermek for Kyrgyzstan, right?
Yeah, if I need to give his contacts to Maria or to somebody, or I need to give him somebody's contacts, or we need to organize a meeting.
He's the colleague working on the Apache project, right?
Yes, it's him.
Then he should have attended the meeting yesterday. He surely received the invitation.
Yeah, but yesterday it was Asia. Maybe that's why he didn't.
Yeah, but he's from Apache.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Now I'm checking. Then Azerbaijan, Amin and Fikrat, who has the contact of them?
I have contacts of Amin.
Okay.
I have a contact of Fikrat, and he can speak English. Yeah.
Okay, so Amin to Kostya and Fikrat to Maria. If you can send me their contact details, well, I will add them to our list.
Okay.
And eventually, well, now maybe it's too late to invite them, but maybe they can join on Friday.
Okay.
Okay. And then only these 3 people, right?
And Armenia also, we're missing Armenia, though they did contribute with a map, not very detailed, but still. And we have them in your list, in your Excel table, Lucrezia. Someone else can.
Yes, I'm not sharing my screen because my connection is very bad.
Actually, you are.
Yes.
So I'm still sharing.
Yes.
Oh, so I didn't notice, but my connection is very bad. So I lost most of the conversation before. These people, shall we invite them to the work or not?
Maybe we need to revise once again, because the situation changed since this. You know, I think this first list was just let's say, who can contribute. But afterwards, many people, not many people, but the discussion changed. So we should revise once again and to see who is working and who wants to work with this atlas. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm still suggesting for Armenia the same contact Samuel Sakan, because he's quite active. We're now finishing the project of soil information system in Armenia, where he's a key person, and anyway he can coordinate with other scientists in Armenia on this topic, because he works on the same institute that is developing maps and was also participating in some previous work on this. Yeah. They have not very detailed map, but with correlation to reference soil groups of WRB. So I guess we can include him in discussion somehow, or at least use as a reference point for the country.
Yeah.
So what's the name?
There is no one else for Armenia. I don't know who else can participate. I agree. Yes.
Kostya, who from Armenia?
Samuel Sakan, the same person. Yeah.
Samuel.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And for Georgia, okay, our INSI contact is again that same person in the list, Georgi Gambashidze. But I have not received any kind of contribution from him on this matter about WRB maps, so I don't know if he's willing to participate or not.
But you know, he is written in all the pillars, Georgi, as far as he is active. But actually, he's not a mapper. And I don't think he is active in Glossolan.
I know, but the problem is that he is not a focal point, but he's appointed to everything. He's appointed as an INSI, he's appointed for all trainings for mapping, he's appointed for Glossolan, he's the regional chair of Glossolan, I think. And so...
But he's good in laboratories, like he's good, he contributes a lot, huh?
Yeah, for the mapping, he's actually also can do some things. He can collect data at least. But yeah, because he's doing simultaneously all the stuff with the mapping, it was sometimes difficult to get the replies from him. So it was depending on the situation.
Okay,
but
so we will review
he's our only entry point in Georgia. He's like our only contact.
And about Urushadze, I think that he is a mapper, but if I'm right, he is quite old. So I don't know who contacted him before, and is he aware of this process? I don't know. From Georgia, Urushadze.
Which Urushadze are you talking about? Is it Tengiz or his daughter? Because he is now head of department.
Okay.
But I see the name Tengiz here, so it's probably him. He's old, but I saw him the other day. He was very active and so on, so he can certainly help.
Okay, and does he speak English, or we should contact him?
Yeah, he speaks good English.
Okay. So Urushadze is very good, yes, in geography and classification and mapping. He's a very good specialist from Georgia. So
So my suggestion is that I will contact all these people and ask them once more if they feel like contributing to the atlas, but maybe sending them some specific assignments, something concrete to do, some example of what they should do. And then you can also propose other experts to involve. So I will send the list to you as well, and we move this way, and we reach the list and finalize the maps and all of this. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, what about Kazakhstan? Are we good?
Kazakhstan, Abdullah Sapr.
Okay, he actually died.
Yeah, but also, okay, it seems to me that another person, Pachikin, was somewhere. I don't remember if he was invited in the previous, but he is responsible for all the maps in.
That's right.
Do you know him, Kostya Pachikin?
Yeah, I know. I'm not personally, but I have his contacts and I know who he is. So
in any case, he can be contacted and he can give a response.
Okay, we can start if you like. I'm taking notes. Maybe if you don't have any other remarks, we will proceed as discussed.
Yeah. I mean, just a reflection. I mean, we did talk yesterday about having some bilateral meetings with between regions, between certain parts of regions to address specific border harmonization issues. So given that we're unable to get these colleagues into this meeting, maybe what we can do is to try and have another meeting, let's say, probably at the beginning of the year now, where we have a bilateral then with the Caucasus and the countries that they border with as well. So
yeah, it would be good.
Yeah, so today we will have a sort of a partial meeting, I think, with the Eurasian countries, and then we'll have to just have another shorter repeat meeting in about a month or so.
All right, let me stop sharing.
You're still sharing, Lucrezia?
Yeah, my computer is stuck and Zoom seems to be stuck. But maybe you can claim the screen.
I cannot because you're the host.
Yeah, I'm trying as well, but I cannot.
I'm sorry, guys. It's blocked. Today it doesn't work anymore.
Maybe if you try to close it and then rejoin the meeting.
Yeah, I'm trying, but I have a close.
While there is a pause, actually, I wanted to say about Pavel that now he has a new administrative duty. He's a dean of the faculty. He was assigned maybe one month ago. So I think in the near future, he can hardly participate actively in the development of Atlas because it's a huge work to take this new position.
Hey.
Yes, I think Lucrezia just disconnect her, and now I think she will reconnect, so we can move forward. I think yes, now you can show your screen.
Yeah, in the meantime, I will show just very quickly what we have in terms of the maps. And
sorry, can you give us just a second, because as soon as I logged out, I stopped recording, and now only the host can record, and the host is Filippo.
No, it's still recording.
Okay.
Yeah, you can go. This is still recording.
Okay. Yeah. So for the maps that we received so far, as I said, from Eurasia, we received only Armenia and Azerbaijan. We didn't receive any maps from any other countries. And here we added, just for this meeting, the maps of Russia and Turkey from the Soil Atlas of Europe that Arvin provided with us. So regarding Armenia and Azerbaijan, we have the maps here. For all our maps, we are harmonizing them in this kind of database where we have a WRB name, we have reference soil group, 2 qualifiers, and a supplementary qualifier where available. Reference soil group should be everywhere, and qualifier 1 also preferably to have it everywhere. Then qualifier 2 is actually optional. Some countries have added it, some countries couldn't. And also supplementary qualifier optional if there is need to better define the soil. Here we have basically a very small area to analyze in terms of borders, Armenia and Azerbaijan. They are matching quite well. If I show the borders to you, you will see that, for example, Azerbaijan map does have a visible continuity with the map of Russia. And they have also continuity with the map of Armenia, but we can examine also in detail this kind of mismatches that we are having. In Azerbaijan, we are having, the description of reference soil groups, and in some cases we have also qualifiers. In Armenia, we have a less detailed map where we have only reference soil groups and also indication of that soil from their original classification. Another issue that we may explore today is what we were also discussing yesterday, is that we received a map from Mongolia, which is not a Eurasian country, but Asian. However, Mongolia has a large border with Russia that we were exploring yesterday, so that we could also talk about this and see maybe what could be the reason of mismatch along this border. And for the others, I suggest that maybe we can see how we can organize meetings with the experts from the countries that can provide some mapping material, because I repeat, so far we received contributions in WRB system only from Armenia and Azerbaijan. Yes, Maria, please, you can talk at any moment.
I'm more than surprised. Okay, actually, after the second meeting of the editorial board, I've sent the map in the WRB to Arvin. It was in maybe May or March. When did we meet? Last year. And actually, after this year, the classification of this map was discussed with Erica, and everything was bilaterally agreed. So there are 4 countries on that map: Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and so the first one, Turkmenistan. So I cannot see it here, and so you just decided not to include this map?
Yeah, I will redress the question to Arvin, because I was just getting the maps directly from the countries, so I didn't receive that layer.
Okay, then that's just an unfortunate internal misunderstanding. under the impression that Kostya also had the data set, but was simply just processing it. So indeed, we'll have to go back and forward it to him.
Okay, because actually the work has been done, and now
yes,
it's lost
so,
somewhere. I cannot understand when and why. Okay.
So just a second.
Okay, so once this issue is figured out, we'll have also Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, I suppose. That will be very easy to add. So I guess we will be missing then Kazakhstan.
But Kazakhstan, they have a good map, I think, then that they can.
So if we contact Chicken here, he probably provides the map, yeah.
Yeah, I think yes. Great. So Andrei is raised his hand.
Well, sorry, I was just checking how to do it. Apparently it's raising sort of hand is Alt Y, and I pressed it. It's still raised. Unfortunately, I can't find basically, what I wanted to say is that the country descriptions should really follow closely the maps, because I see that in some country descriptions there are soil types that are not really shown on the maps. So maybe for the purpose of this atlas, it's best to stick to those that are visualized. And not add extra material in the description, especially considering that the description is very short.
Yeah, I agree that the basis is the map, and then they should be harmonized with the description.
So, I have I don't seem to find a message with the data for Central Asia. But we have a system that deletes emails after a certain period automatically unless they're moved. And it's possible that it's been deleted.
Okay, I will forward it to you and to Kostya.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that. That was just simply a misunderstanding on our side. So if you can kindly resend that, then
yes. After the meeting, I will forward it.
Okay. So then I don't know how it's given that we don't have necessarily the correct participants in the meeting. You know, it's going to be difficult to address some of the issues that we have given for the data set that we have. Maybe we can look a bit at the Mongolian Siberian border. Maybe that's an area that we can sort of really focus on this morning, and then we will have to maybe think about rescheduling this meeting with the correct participants. What do you think, Lucrezia?
Yes, we said that in the beginning of January, right?
Yeah.
So we will do that work on the contributing authors and so, and we reschedule it. I take care of it. I'm sorry, but I knew that there were problems because at the beginning it was just the four of us and Maria in the meeting.
Yeah, and the map of these 4 countries, yeah, we will add to this joint layer as soon as we get it, and then also this joint layer will be shared, after this series of meetings with all the contributors, so that everyone can explore also.
So actually, maybe just to sort of reflect a little bit, because at the end of yesterday's meeting, we were informed that Kostya will leave towards the end of December. And with that in mind, perhaps it would be good to still have this first meeting maybe before Kostya leaves. Maybe we can just find a couple of hours free where after Kostya has included the Central Asian countries, we can then have maybe another meeting so that everybody is in step then, so that the meeting in January is simply about tying up loose ends, and so we have basically this meeting again in the next couple of weeks or something like this.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
What about the 11th of December? So we have 1 week to revise the list of experts to involve, and then we have the meeting, or even the 10th of December, 10 or 11 December.
Yeah, in principle, yeah. I have to just check on a few, let's say, tentative meetings I have on those days to see about the possibility of moving them. But yeah, let's highlight those 2 days for now, and then maybe later today we can firm up which one.
Okay, so I put on 10 or 11 December, and afterward we will have another meeting at the beginning of January.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a very long meeting. Maybe a couple of hours is sufficient. Just focus on the border harmonization issues.
Okay, noted.
And maybe it would be good to have maybe somebody from Turkey as well, for that meeting as well.
Yeah, okay.
Just a moment. Okay. So Maria, do you think you can give some insights then into the, let's say, the possible discrepancies between the border between Mongolia and the South of Siberia, as Kostyan has on the screen now? I mean, one of the issues is here is, of course, that the data from Russia is at a much smaller scale. It's already 1 to 2.5 million, I think, resolution, but there are some quite strong differences between the two countries in the border area.
Yes, but now you decided to harmonize the borders of Russia and Asia. Because in the previous meeting, you said that Russia sheets will be separately, and we will only harmonize the Asian countries among, no, so you changed your...
No. So there will be a sheet on the, let's say, that covers the Asian part of Russia. There'll be a separate map spread, but at the same time we will still show the countries alongside Asia. So we should try to understand what are the differences.
Okay, so you mean that the whole border of Russia need to be harmonized with Asia?
Yeah, where possible, yes. I mean, alternatively, we will have to simply put a disclaimer that the differences at the border between Russia and other countries are the result of a different approach in mapping and a different scale in data or something like this. But maybe if there are some simple, let's say, of very similar sort of soil types, that maybe that we can see that in some cases, maybe that they can, whether they are in one reference group or another, maybe it's a sort of 50-50 call or anything like that, but maybe just to understand some of the key differences. Because you can see that in some areas that there is some coherence, basically more or less where, not far from to the right of where the cursor is now, there seems to be some sort of good coherence. Yeah, while obviously to the right again, we have, I'm not sure what these two colors correspond to in terms of soil types, but there's a...
Can you show?
Yeah, basically I'm showing now on the Mongolian side, there are big areas, the orange color are umbrisols. Well, on the Russian side, these are mostly podzols. Green, the light green areas are podzols, while in Mongolian, these are umbrisols. Erika also wants to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Maria whether the whole podzol semantic information, is it the classic Russian podzol approach, or is it really the WRB approach? Because the podzols were always a problem on international forum.
But still, yeah, there may be, we should check, because sometimes we can have, let's say, what's the name, pseudo podzol, because they're expected to be under the coniferous forest, on the sandy deposits, and that's why the name of pseudo podzol was created. But actually, I think in this regard, for Siberia, there is yes, people developed the new approach and the new.
Yeah. So I think we strictly should follow the WRB approach if we.
Yeah.
And other question is that on the Mongolian side, it seems that peat soils, histosols and umbrisols are indicated, which is reflecting very high organic carbon containing soils. So another question is it possible that on both sides of the border, there are deep forest floors, and maybe they are really podzols, and on the Mongolian side, just because there was a folic horizon on the top, they were considered histosols, even if it's not 40 centimeter deep. So I think we should go into the details of those soil groups and see what they really are to be able to solve this, because this is a dramatic difference between the two countries at the border.
Yeah,
so this line is so sharp that I think this has to be solved. And the only way is that we go into details what those soils are. So I don't know if we postpone this discussion or will we go into details now?
You can highlight the main points which maybe you have, because I cannot answer right now. I need to check with the colleagues from Siberia, also to understand the origin of this map of Russia, on the basis of which, let's say, the soil map was created. Arvin, what was the basis for the Russian?
And the Russian colleague also said something here. I mean, the Mongolian colleague, sorry. So he was pointing that there is a scale problem, which is obviously a fact. But also beside the scale, I think that the semantic information has to be sought. So maybe I send these questions to Lucrezia, and then you can send it to the country representatives and Maria. So I don't know how do we do it, but I can ask specific questions about the soils on the two sides of the border.
So actually right now, I'm not ready to discuss about the border between Mongolia and Russia. So
especially the Siberian part. So
yeah, I was inviting specialists for the border of Central Asia with Afghanistan and so on, Iran, and so the other part, arid regions, and I'm also more familiar with this.
Yes, but who should we address with this problem to
now
tell us?
I understand that to me.
Okay.
To me, but I cannot respond now.
Okay.
So this is the origin of this map is this georeference database of Russia, produced by Stolbovoy when he was at Yaza and with Igor Savin, that group of people. That's the basis of this, and it was used in the Soil Atlas of Europe and then updated a little bit for the Circumpolar Atlas.
Okay, so about soil classification, I can understand what to do, but also the question is what is your procedure to harmonize the different scale of the maps? For example, you have 4 soils from one side and 1 soil from another side. Yeah. What do you do?
I think.
Okay, can you go to the Google Map coverage like we did yesterday?
Yeah, I have it open if you like.
Yeah, so Maria, yesterday what we did with the country representatives, when there was a huge polygon on one side and a lot of details on the other side, we were looking at the Google Map, and we suggested that the countries do a little bit of digital soil mapping, and they change. I don't know how much capacity is in the countries to do this, but there is an option that there is a little bit of improvement of scale, but if you go to that part of the map, I mean the Google coverage.
Can you see it now?
Mm-hmm. Can you put the arrow to the place where we are?
So this is the Umbrasol part. That's shown on the Mongolian data set. And you can see it, indeed it's it looks like a sort of undulating wooded environment. Maybe some parts are not quite as forested anymore. And actually I was just looking that we can even put ourselves on the ground there.
Yeah.
So we can see.
Yes, so there is a chance that there are, actually it looks like sandy, but it's only one side, but I can imagine that on the Mongolian side, there were a very deep folic layer, and that's why they classified as histosols. But I think we should go into that detail with the 2 country representatives. So the Mongolian colleague is already with us, so he knows what they have to check. And for the Russian colleagues, we will send also the questions.
Yeah, okay. So actually for this area, I can find someone to or I can contact and talk to clarify the situation. But I think there is no podzols. Maybe yes, that Umbersol is closer.
That would help a lot.
Yeah.
Because there are, I say that I think in the lowland areas, so these paler regions here we looked at yesterday, and this region here that we talked about at the very beginning, this is where the cursor was when we started to look. So in the lowland areas, there does seem to be more of a coherence between the two countries. But if we maybe adjust at least maybe the border regions, if we think that the podzols are misclassified, then we can, I think that would be a good step forward. I'll stop sharing there. Maybe Kostyan, to let you go back.
Okay. Okay.
What about the large purple area on the extreme right?
Okay, so on the right, there are some carbon-rich soils. In Mongolia, they are, oh, sorry. In Mongolia, they are all classified mostly as castanisms, but on the Russian side, there is a lot of variety there. So there are castanisms, there are chernozyms, there are FAO-GSP.
Yeah. Which are very close by the surface horizon.
Yeah. So they're all like carbon rich, we understand. But in this case, it is Russian map that is more diverse, let's say, in terms of soil types. Well, Mongolian has more polygons, but they're all classified as castanisms. Yeah, let me, today maybe I can even try to add satellite, because yesterday my computer was not working. Let's see. Okay, today is kind of working. So here is the area. Yeah, there's some difference on the Russian side in the north, and then it slowly comes into this more homogeneous terrain towards Mongolian side.
Right at the borderline seems to be very similar.
Yes. But again, yeah, the scale of the map is different. So we see that this polygon is following some feature, yeah, some terrain feature probably on the Russian side, but on Mongolian it doesn't. Because actually on Mongolian side it's not visible.
More homogeneous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So definitely there is a difference between the two sides. So, but not right at the border.
Yes, and here also FAO-GSP. Yeah, it's also, I think, about the just naming of this carbon-rich soils here.
Yeah, and FAO-GSP and castanisms, the concept is quite different. So the sharp line should be solved. So maybe again we should ask some specific questions to the colleagues about maybe rainfall and how deep the carbonate is reached. So the FAO-GSPs are generally leached to 1 meter depth in terms of carbonate, and the Castaner-GSPs have carbonate at very shallow depths. So this is quite a big of difference on the two sides of the border.
Okay, and also just for me to see the volume of work, so you mean that the border with China should also be harmonized, right? Because for Russia and Mongolia, I can see less problems because we were working in, let's say, we have quite similar background. So it will be easier to find the way to harmonize. And with China also will be this issue.
Yeah. Maria or anybody, was Pavel invited to this meeting?
Yes, he was invited, but I cannot see him here.
Okay.
Yeah, but as I told you, he is now he's really 100% busy with his new position at the faculty.
Actually, all of us.
Yes, but he took a new position of the dean. Yeah. So I can contact him.
I think it would be great to contact him about this specific region, this borderline with Mongolia, because I think these are kind of simple questions that he could answer about the leached environment or not, about potholes existing or not. At least for the Russian part, I'm sure he could give, or maybe also Sergei Goryachkin. I don't know how much Sergei was involved, but I'm sure that he would be able to answer questions very easily.
May I comment on that? I forgot how to raise my hand.
Okay.
Sorry. Most of the soil mapping of Mongolia was done by the Dokuchaev Institute, and that would be Minashna. She was working there quite a lot. She's quite old now, but anyway. One of the reasons we need to look at sort of harmonization of the borders and understand what is happening on the borders is that all the borders are different. Some borders are rivers. And then, of course, on both sides of the river, we are likely to expect similar soils. Other borders, like say between Tuva and Mongolia, are mountains. So the border is going along the mountain range, like say between Russia and South Caucasus states. And then we would be expecting very different soils because of the rain shadow that the mountain range creates. So each border is different, and one has to look very carefully at the nature of the border before we start sort of reclassifying the soils on different sides of the border.
Yeah. Andrei, that's why you are looking at always the Google Earth. That's what we did yesterday. If there is a good explanation of the border geographical and geomorphological feature. So yes, we are aware of this. Thank you. But that is why we have used always when there was a specific question raised, we looked at always the map. I mean the Google satellite map, to figure out if the reason is what you are saying.
So as I say, I think if we can correct glaring omissions, specifically at the border between reference groups, if there's no obvious topographic or vegetational indications from something like Google Earth, I think the product will be better. However, I can also appreciate that we cannot look at every individual polygon as well. So as I said, we can always add a disclaimer to the map sheet that eventually says, as I said before, to explain why we have some abrupt boundaries. And maybe it also reflects the history of the products that we are trying to bring together. As I said, but perhaps the glaring differences to try and understand, and if there's an issue between Astana ZEMs and FAO ZEMs, then I would imagine that's relatively straightforward to correct. We should be able to sort of look at maybe some climate data or look at some of the profile information that underpins the soils for that region, and we should be able to correct at least on that border region.
So in my understanding about Russia, that actually we should work, let's say, country by country, because we cannot decide from one side. For example, we start to change something in Russia, but sometimes something should be changed from the side of another country. So I mean that maybe we should have the meeting of Russia and Mongolia. First, we harmonize this border, 2 specialists or 3, then with China, and then country by country.
So the idea of this meeting today was that we would have, let's say, all the participants from the various meetings. So yesterday, unfortunately, we didn't have China. They didn't attend, so we still have the whole with China. But we did work our way through let's say, the southern and eastern Asian countries yesterday to highlight the differences. And you can see maybe already in this map that there's a slight difference between Bangladesh, and it stands out a little bit there. So there are some colleagues there looking at that. But indeed, what we should try to do is, and that's why I'm suggesting that we have basically this discussion again, maybe in 2 weeks' time, when Kostian has introduced the missing data sets from Central Asia. And then we also have the colleagues present to actually work through.
And also, I can see that Iran and Afghanistan are missing.
Yeah.
Right. And what is the situation with them? Because I can contact the colleagues from Iran and to find them out.
So they will join the meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, they are in the Near East group.
But there was an exchange with both of them saying that they would be providing data.
Okay.
So it just hasn't arrived yet.
So I mean that we should have this meeting after we have the maps of Iran and Afghanistan and Pakistan, right? But at the border of Pakistan, I can see the map with Central Asia. Not the whole border. Yeah, maybe Pakistan is not needed. Yeah, Iran and Afghanistan. I mean that we can work with this area, with Central Asia and Iran, Afghanistan.
So
later.
Yeah, indeed. So unless we have specific questions to our Mongolian colleague in relation to, to maybe if he can provide us or provide you with, let's say, some of the soil information for let's say the steppe soils in that region to the east, and maybe the umbrisols so that if he can share that with you, Maria, and then that at least gives us some material on which you can then base the changes, the scale of the changes that that have to be made.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll see how to actually implement the changes, because as we have this data set, maybe it's relatively easy for us to select a region and simply rename the certain reference groups to others. So maybe the actual level of work is relatively straightforward to implement once we understand the reasons for the differences on either side of the border. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else, Kostya, that we need to? Later today, I will send you the, let's say, the legend file that we've used for the other atlases. I don't have access to it from home, so and this afternoon I will try to go into the office. So from there, I can send you the at least the layer file that we've used in the other atlases to use, and maybe that's will help us as well in the evaluation. Okay. So, Lucrezia, then we have some clear steps maybe now or not, so that we repeat this meeting. We invite the colleagues from the Caucasus and also from the Central Asian countries. And once Kostya has managed to introduce the missing data.
Yeah, and I also took a note that we will prepare the list of mismatches for what concerns the border between Mongolia and Russia, and Erika will ask questions to Maria in this case. But then also other countries have to eventually make changes to their classifications. But yeah, I took note of everything, so don't worry.
And what about the so we are? I think we are maybe Kostya can maybe the border between Azerbaijan and Russia was we said that it was okay, no?
Okay, let's examine it more closely. Okay, so here's the border. Yeah, we see a lot of things are matching. We see umbrisols on both sides. Follows the mountains probably. And cambisols here in the center on both sides. So a slight mismatch is probably here. When we have umbrisols on the Russian side. And on the Azerbaijan side, we have castanozems. And let us see a satellite then. And here how it goes. Seems like the continuation here.
Yeah. What's the polygon to the left of that? The one you've selected.
To the left.
Yeah, the
Purple.
The purple one, yeah, on the border itself.
Yeah, this one, the purple, is castanozems.
Yeah. It's all the same.
Yeah, it's selected, that's why it's highlighted.
Yeah.
And can you magnify to see the topography? Because I cannot see. Usually, Kastanozoms, they go on the plains in this area.
Right. But bordering with Umbrisols is quite dramatic.
But it seems that it's a mountainous area from both sides, but I cannot see correctly. I think it's a fluvial fan.
So here is actually Fluvisols on Azerbaijan side.
No, I mean it's a Piedmont area. This Umbrisol and Kastanozem is Piedmont area, right?
But Maria, Kastanozems and Umbrisols bordering with each other, that's kind of surprising, because Umbrisols are developing generally from acidic parent material, and they are acidic in the subsoil as well. And for the Kastanozems, you need a carbonate source. And
that's why I say, that's why I say that in this area of Azerbaijan, I'm not sure that it's Kastanozem. Because Kastanozem,
that's very likely.
To the north, more to the north, to the more semi-desert area, like something like this. They have Kastanozems, but in the plains.
Yeah, like on this side of the mountain, it continues to be Umbrisols on both sides.
If I may comment on that, basically the Umbrisols are on the mountain slopes there with forest vegetation. All the flats along the Caspian Sea are mostly Kastanozems. They're under cultivation, and you can clearly see the irrigation systems there. The elevations are changing very, very rapidly into the Caucasus. So this grading from Kastanozems to Umbrisols without sort of going into a narrow strip of Chernozems that may be in between is sort of quite expected. There was a book by Salaev published in 1966 on the soils of the Minor Caucasus. So one can look at that once again. It's just to keep in mind that in the south of Azerbaijan, there is a different mountain system. It's the Talish Mountains, which are very different from the Caucasus altogether. So the border with Iran would be substantially different from the northern parts of Azerbaijan. But that part of Dagestan, which is bordering Azerbaijan, in the coastal area should have very similar soils. So Derbent and Baku are practically the same. That's it.
So can you assist them to harmonize this?
Yes, I can, if necessary, yes, of course, yes. But they should be quite familiar with the Derbent area north of Azerbaijan as well.
Yeah. Also, the scale problem perhaps should be solved a little bit.
The scale problem will be difficult, I have to say, because it means unless there's a very clear third-party layer, let's say from remote sensing or something that can be brought in. I think it's very difficult to add a lot of spatial detail. There we have to just simply explain why, but indeed
I thought the opposite, to generalize a little bit around the border. So that it wouldn't be just a sharp difference. But then it would influence the homogeneity of the scale. But generalizing might be easy around the borderline.
So if you look at the let's say that set of Umbrisol polygons on the Russian side, that's sort of to the east of the mountains, no, where we were looking before. So in reality, if we eventually find out that these are Castanozems, as in on the other side of the border, then we only have to change, let's say, this set of polygons that actually run up from the border. After there, we don't have to do anything. So we will have then a clear, let's say, border. So I think this is the sort of scale of editing that we have to do. Just one point of Kostya, the white areas, are these no data from just the fact that the two data sets don't match the border, or are we missing
river?
It's
a river.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yeah, the white areas are no data because of not matching borders. And the gray areas here are soils that were not classified in WRB. So, but we discussed it yesterday that rock outcrops will maybe classify. So that can be changed. The white areas are gaps because of the different borders on the map.
Yeah, but indeed, it's basically. Can you just switch the satellite on just out of interest to see? It's a very mountainous region. So maybe it's a scale issue with the border or something like this.
Original map that was digitized.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, for these tiny slivers, we can look to these at a later stage. Yeah, I would agree with a comment from Pandy there. To if the geomorphology is the same, that we will merge. Yes. Okay. So. Okay, maybe let's put this small part to bed then. So if you can take note then, Maria, of these, let's say, 3 issues for the time being to see whether we really have umbrisols on the border there, the podzol issue on the Mongolian border, and then the Castanazem. Then let's say that by the 10th or 11th of December, we try to have a meeting and we try to resolve these and see how to make some progress. So I'm just looking at the timing. So perhaps we just take a 10-minute break now, then we'll come back and we can look at the map spreads, and then talk a little bit quickly about the new global products with that FAO are developing. But we can just mention them now because we will talk about them in detail in a bit more for the 10th of the 11th of December. And then also we can have a look at a little bit about the country profiles that were raised. And I think that maybe in 45 minutes, 1 hour, we can close the meeting. So we'll just take a 10-minute break now just to stretch our legs.
Arvin, at 11, I will have another meeting with my office, so that may go for an hour or so. So I will disconnect after the 11 from the board meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And also me and Gucci-Hra, we will disconnect at 11:30 because we have another meeting with the Ministry of Agriculture.
Oh, well, okay, then if people are happy, then maybe we just go on until for very quickly now, and then let's try to stop the meeting at 11 o'clock then. Yeah. Okay.
Or 11:15.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Would be good, yeah.
So just give me a moment to get myself organized. Okay. Okay, so when we have this final product, where is it? Sorry, I'm trying to find the screen that I'm trying to share. Okay. Let me try again. Okay. So for some reason I can't. Ah, here we go. Here we go. Do you see? Do you see a
Yes.
map page? Yeah. It's very slow loading as well on my. So the idea, of course, then is that we will present all this information as the spreads on the atlas. So what you see on the screen in front of you now is as if you open the atlas with 2 pages open in front of you, flat in front of you. So we have you have to imagine 2 A3 pages in front. And so each of the pages will have the same look. So they'll have this orientation map at the top here. There will be a title for the broad region. There's a scale bar and which is actually missing from here. There's a little text box that then describes the patterns that we see on the spread, and then some indications as to page numbers for the adjacent maps. So on here now we've put a standard cartographic base, so with some principal roads and settlements and so on, and we've just overlain this with the dominant soil type from the harmonized world soil database, just to give an indication of, let's say, of what the eventual map will look. So this will be replaced obviously by the harmonized products that we've just been talking about and the country contributions. But just for let's say so that people can understand how each page will look roughly in terms of its appearance, we've provided this information. Now, as you can see on the orientation map, we have this series of curved lines of boxes. That's because each page is centered on a vertical meridian of longitude. So the middle of the page is always vertical, and that gives us then a rectangle for the area that matches the page. But if you actually then reproject the page extents on this overview, you see that you're actually following the lines of latitude. Okay, so at the moment this text is just rubbish. It's just a placeholder, and we will incorporate let's say the information that we're describing in the country profiles, but in a little bit more detail here to explain the patterns that we are showing. So there will be, I don't know, what we have here, a Kazakhstan belt or a Chernozem belt running through because it's a steppe region, or there'll be some mountainous features, or there'll be something around the lake that we can explain with some local geographical context as well. So while the idea will be similar to the country profiles here, we will pick up on some key locations or key topographical settings. Okay. So we ask people to check if the cartographic base is fine, or if we are missing something, maybe some lake feature or some maybe key mountains. On top of this, we will then apply two other products. One is a global human settlement layer. So for the large cities, we will take the outlines of those and apply them to this. So we will use it as a mask to cover the large cities. Maybe here I don't see any large cities. Maybe they are points, and then we will code those as technosols, because they will fall under, at this scale they will look as a continuous mask of technosols. And then we will apply also a global surface water layer, so that we will have a continuous coverage then of the main rivers across all the sheets in a harmonized way. Okay, so so this you can have a look at the region that you have. I see, for example, so this is probably a lake, as I'm trying to. So we can see if we want to add names or whatever to specific geographical features like this. So eventually, I will make when we have the final map products. So we will take the harmonized products from Kostia at the beginning of the year. I will try to make a first attempt at putting the, let's say, explanatory text together from here, and then we will circulate this to the national contact points to check and if they want to add something. It's important that, of course, that the texts here are not national descriptions. They are descriptions of what we see on the spread. So they will cover, for most cases, a number of countries, like we see in this case. I don't know whether it probably will take too long for the page to load. But we have one of these spreads then will cover Turkey and the Caucasus. And there will be another one of these spreads covering Asia and Russia, basically, which is what we discussed before, because the detail, we won't show Siberia and so on in the same detail, because it's been already covered in the circumpolar atlas. Okay. It's quite a large. The web page is not responding, so so that gives you at least an indication of what the, let's say, the mapping spread of the atlas will eventually look like. Yeah. I don't know if there are any questions or comments on that part.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we should check the border about the lakes, the border of the RLC, because it changed very abruptly. Yeah. So I couldn't see it. What is the border in your version? But just to mention, to remind you.
Yeah. As I said, I can't. Unfortunately, I think my laptop, a bit like Lucrezia's this morning and Kostian's yesterday, it's probably needs to be rebooted. But these pages have been shared with you. But maybe what I will do is share with everybody these two other data sets that we will apply. So the surface water data set. So that will obviously provide the outline of the RLC. And the human settlement layer. So that's just to have a sort of a consistency of coverage across all the countries or all pages. But I've made a note to share those two. Okay. Okay. As I said, these pages have been, this link has been shared by Lucrezia to everybody, and then so people can have a look. The important thing is not to put too much attention onto the soil layer, because I say that's simply a dummy for now. I think to the colleagues from FAO want to just maybe recap about the timelines for the global data sets that we will include in the atlas.
So Kostya, this would be you.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So about the global maps, yeah. As you know, we have the global soil organic carbon map, which is ready and continuously updated. And we recently received some new contributions from Georgia and Armenia. And And we are working with Kyrgyzstan on their update. But anyway, the map is ready for inclusion. Regarding other products, work is ongoing on the global map of salt-affected soils, but many countries still need more time to collect the data and contribute to this map. So at the INSI meeting, it was decided that we give countries more time. And then in the first quarter of next year, we see what we're getting, and then we discuss with the countries if they are happy with their contributions and with the final product. And after that, if everybody's happy with the product, we will launch it. But so this discussion is moved towards the first quarter of next year, and therefore there is no 100% certainty of when the map is going to be launched. Regarding the map of soil organic carbon sequestration potential, we started the training already this year, and the trainings for this map will be finished in February next year. So again, after February, maybe in March, we will assess the situation, how many national contributions we have, if we are ready to launch this map by the first quarter of next year or not. That will be based again on the outcome that we get from the countries. And global soil erosion map is entirely moved towards next year. The whole process will start next year, so we will probably not get it before the end of next year. So probably not be ready for the atlas. So what we can include right now is definitely GSOC map, so organic carbon map. And there is still uncertainty regarding to other products, salinity map and sequestration map. That's basically it for the global products.
Okay, so we will see where we are with all these elements. And so I think for the atlas, we can accommodate some products at the last minute if needed. Otherwise, we'll address maybe these issues within the next editorial board meeting, and also on Friday to see where we are in the overall planning of the atlas. Okay, thank you. Then the final point for this morning then is indeed I received a lot of contributions from countries for the country profiles. Also, a lot of countries didn't provide anything, so I spent some time basically editing people's contributions to, let's say, a standard style of writing, and also to fit the space that we have in the atlas. I say most, despite giving character count guidelines, I also received pages and pages and pages of contributions. And while we've had to be quite hard in editing some of these texts, the idea is that we can benefit from a lot of this information for the early part of the atlas, the first part of the atlas, when we're talking about the soil forming processes and soil functions and the various stories that we are trying to develop in the fact boxes and so on. So it's not that this information will be wasted. We will just need to repackage it in a different part of the atlas. So I will just try to share, just to be sure that everybody's on the same understanding. So let's find something relevant now. So we have this style where we have some facts most of these come from the countries themselves. We have a population, the typical climate, the area, and then how much of Asia it's actually covering, and the amount of arable soils as a sort of a general statistic, flag, and then these location maps for all the countries in a similar style. Some of them we will have to redo because I couldn't find for a few countries the same style. So we then have to describe the landscape and climate. So the main sort of features that maybe could be controlling the soil characteristics, something about the soil characteristics in a very broad style. So this is why, maybe to the comment of Andre, that if I don't have the soil patterns, I've looked at, let's say, that like harmonized world soils database or the soil grids, so just to some data that we have already that's been published online, to try and actually just simply describe the broad soil characteristics of each country, if I didn't have the information already prepared. And then we've tried to sort of highlight some issues that people have in relation to soils, positive in some cases, but also to highlight what are the main drivers maybe for soil degradation. Now we've sent these out to people, and I've received, Lucrezia myself have received some comments on them, not major issues, but if we want to, we can spend the next 10, 15 minutes or so talking about individual profiles if you want, or you can also send me comments in a written form if you haven't done so already, and I will update the text and we can circulate a new version of this for people to have a final look. I don't know if anybody has specific comments or questions on this. Azerbaijan. The one country that I discovered that potentially could be missing is Cyprus, actually, because I discovered that it's actually sitting on the Asian plate. But maybe that's something that we can just simply explain in the introduction. And well, we also include Israel and Palestine, but then I also discovered at the same time sits on the other side of the African plate as well. So that's just some minor issues. Okay, so whatever's in here at the moment, there is the scope to edit. People can also provide, if you like, a different focus if they want to highlight a particular element that's maybe not addressed sufficiently in their opinion at the moment. We can do that, but of course the space is relatively restricted. So if we add one more sentence, then obviously one more sentence will have to be deleted somewhere to accommodate that. Okay, so if there are no specific comments on this, then please feel free to send your remarks by email to me and or Lucrezia, and then we'll amend accordingly. And if anything's not clear, then we'll come back to you. Okay. Any comments or questions from that side for that part?
Oh, I have a question for Erika, I think.
Yes.
Erika, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Listen, I've noticed that in many of these areas, what used to be called gray forest soils are classified as fire zones. Would that be correct? Because these are essentially slightly leached soils with a substantial amount of organic matter, but I see that there is probably sort of a bit of confusion, and in some cases these soils are classified as fire zones, in other cases they are classified as umbri soils. So I'm not very sure about harmonizing that.
Okay, I think again it needs a local knowledge, because the FAO-GSPs are basic soils and the umbri soils are unsaturated, mostly acidic soils. So I will send you a short note that what you can discuss with the country representatives. So the concept of the two is very different.
That's understandable. That's why I'm sort of a little concerned that basically it seems to me that someone was kind of lost in translation, and depending on the country, they classified it as either umbri soils or fire zones. But they all are.
I think that's why we have to give them some orientation. If you wish, I can write you just a very short paragraph and send it to you and Maria, and you can discuss, because yes, I know that the FAO-GSPs were, I mean, these gray soils were often converted to the FAO-GSPs, but the concept of the umbri soils unfortunately changed in the meantime, so there is a mess. But maybe we can give a small paragraph of orientation how they should correlate the old gray soils.
So yeah, it's kind of a bit, it's a bit complicated at the moment, it seems, yes.
I think it's not so complicated if they follow a simple guideline. I'm happy to send you a short paragraph of a guideline.
You have to reclassify the map. Which they probably should do anyway, but yeah.
I think we need people who know the area. They will be able to answer the questions and the correlation perhaps quite easy if they follow this
sure.
guideline.
It's just the way it stands, it may be sort of not necessarily correct. Yeah.
The basic question is if the subsoil is saturated or unsaturated, and these areas are generally very much determined by the parent material, and they would know. And the leaching processes, I'm sure that the colleagues who are familiar with the area will be able to correlate.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think it sort of deserves another look. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Very helpful. Any other comments or reflections? Okay, then. So let's say that I think we can probably stop and close the meeting. So I'm sorry that we messed up with the Central Asian data. So we'll pick up on that and say have a repeat meeting in around the 10th or the 11th when we can see those data sets inserted, and then also to have the participation of the relevant colleagues from the Caucasus as well. So. But I think we've identified some key issues that will be really helpful in harmonizing the data sets at least along the Russian border. So that's, I think, a good outcome. And as I say, we'll work through any comments people want to send on the country profiles, and I'm not even sure that by Friday, but maybe by the 10th, we will have also an updated version of the country profiles as well that we can share with people. So I think that with these two big blocks of of the atlas, let's say, addressed. I think that they are really major parts that we can put away, and we can then begin to focus on some of the other parts of the atlas. But I want to discuss those more at the plenary on Friday morning in terms of next steps and so on. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has any final comments or questions. I'm just having a quick look at the chat. I haven't been looking so much at the chat. It's all the time. Is there anything outstanding there, Lucrezia, that maybe... I saw some comments like the one from Pandy, but...
No, I think I included everything in the notes as well. And I'm taking also in terms of, well, the border of the RRC and so on. And most of the comments were...
Okay, so thank you very much for your time and effort and patience in particular. I have to say for this, it's a complex process to juggle so many people and so many elements at once. And we'll try to sort of say summarize the situation on for the next steps on Friday. But in the meantime, we'll try to arrange this sort of second meeting on Central Asia within a couple of weeks. Yeah. So have a nice day.
On Friday. Thank you so much, and sorry for not inviting everybody we wanted. I'm very sorry.
So it's just an observation then. So tomorrow we will have the Near East countries starting. I was just checking at the time. I think it's sort of 9 o'clock still. Yeah. So again, there's an open invitation for you to attend this meeting as well, maybe in listening mode, and so you're more than welcome to join us again tomorrow if you want. Otherwise, we'll see you on Friday. And then maybe just to Lucrezia, perhaps it's worth having a double check today that we have also the required participants for tomorrow. Maybe just one final check to make sure that.
Yeah, just check that Iran actually they did not register to the meeting, so I sent them a WhatsApp and to the ministry, and I hope they will answer to me today. I sent them several reminders. In this case, all of them were informed, contributing authors and national focal points, everybody.
Do you need me anymore? Do you need me anymore?
No, don't worry.
Then see you tomorrow and on Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, thank you.
So maybe I can
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation. All the best. Bye.
Bye, thanks, Sunday. So maybe I can quickly name the countries that will attend the meeting tomorrow, so that also colleagues in the region know, and maybe they can join, because there are some bordering countries with the region ones. So we have Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, Pandi, Kuwait, Jordan, I don't know if I already said it, Palestine, and that's it.
Yeah.
I invited only the ones in the Near East. So we miss Iran, that I'm following up. And yeah, and the rest they should all have registered. Maybe we miss Oman.
And Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia is a lost case. So Iran, I follow up, but I will make sure that they register. Oman, they are my friends. I can also do a follow-up. I think we miss only these two.
Bahrain, did you mention Bahrain?
No, Bahrain, no. Yeah. Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, I don't know how to help with it. Ah, you know someone that did not register? ICBA. Colleagues from ICBA did not register to the meeting. So I will send them an email too.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah.
Will I invite someone else?
Let's try to keep with a stable group as much as possible, I would say, and maybe with a reminder they can join.
Okay. So
what about Afghanistan? They didn't join Asia. Maybe they can join either.
We'll write to the representative of Afghanistan, yes, because they registered, but they did not attend the meeting. Then we need of Israel, Arwin. I saw that, but I will not invite them to the meeting tomorrow. Israel, we classify them as Europe.
So indeed, I mean, that's what I was saying, actually, that, you know, when I was writing the country profiles, it became apparent that, of course, Israel isn't in Asia, actually, because they're on the west of the Dead Sea Fault, which is the boundary of the Asian plate. So, which then goes up through sort of the coast of Lebanon and then into the Mediterranean.
Yeah, actually, we got the map from Palestine, but from Israel, we don't have anything. So.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a soil map for Israel that was provided for us for the Soil Atlas of Europe.
Okay.
But technically, the border comes up the Gulf of Aqaba and then runs up the border with Israel, and then sort of cuts across Lebanon. I don't know. So from a geological point of view, and from a definition point of view, neither Palestine nor Israel are in Asia. But then I was thinking about then the Papua New Guinea discussion yesterday, because also the island is neither in Asia, but we included because it's an extension of Indonesia. So perhaps we need to think about that part as well, how we show